Humans love to change. Humans love the idea and the very concept of zero, one, and starting something new. Humans have always been a constant chaser, a constant someone who needs change. And so, always you have this tendency within you that we need to start from one. And so there is zero exists in life, and then there will be one. If there is night, then there will be day. Like, let's say you want to start something new. Let's say you want to start something new within your life, within, in general, everything. Would you choose a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, or a Monday? Let's say you want to change your diet. Would you start it with Monday or would you start it with Sunday? Would you start it on a random Wednesday? Let's say maybe the days are scrambled up. It's 23rd. Let's say you should start from 1st the next month. And so humans have this identity of one in their head that there is some darkness right now in my life. And then there will be the bright sun scorching my eyes, and I will be like this. And so humans have this tendency that there is sort of like a fairness to the world and that there will be change. There is the divine power who will change everything. And he is fair or she is fair. And everything in this world is fair. And so the question arises is why am I not, or why I didn't, or why this didn't happen, right? And the core question is why I wasn't born, or why didn't I take place in a rich household rather than this modest household which I live in right now? Why? Well, that there's divine power and there's this divine cause behind it. Humans love meaning and the change in life, the constant chase of that change. But would humans ever change? Well, I tried something. I tried to unroot the layers of what we call the living and how we perceive the world. There are multiple layers to life. There's this basic S level. And then as you scratch down, there's more layers. And I call this development, but in a negative side. And it's development. Don't get me wrong. It's negative, but it's development. And the reason I say it as a development is because you're developing as you are scorching the layers. And as you don't know what to name this feeling, because you literally scorch down the level of words, I'll come to it. I'll come to it because I don't think you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Look, there's a graph of philosophy in general, in speciality, and in general, in whatever you learn in this life, or whatever you change to. Let's say you are adapting to a new diet, okay? What happens is initially you are very fired up to adapt to that diet. I don't know, it's called something Dunning-Kruger effect or something like that. I don't know. A graph. Basically, you start like a jump and then you fall down because you hit the reality and then you adapt to that reality. You now have enough goals which are adapted to the reality. You change your goals, you mold them according to what your experiences were, and then you hit the success and whatever the expectations you had enough. Well, in philosophy, there's no end change of goals. So if you start with a fire rocket, which is going to push you into the outer atmosphere, in the orbit of Earth, you don't have any jetpacks then. You don't have, boom, let's hit a jet, let's accelerate, let's use Earth as an orbit like a spinning machine and then let's throw it. There's nothing like that in philosophy. You don't learn from your mistakes. There's no learning mistakes. It's philosophy. So the graph doesn't go like your typical let me learn engineering, let me learn rocket science. Doesn't matter. Here, it it's something different. It hits different. Because what happens is, you start with the same jetpacks. Oh my God, I'm going to learn philosophy. And everyone comes into philosophy. Even I got into philosophy with this one nature of it is I'll, quote more. I'll aura farm, whatever you call that. And so, in between of a conversation, I'll use a Plato's or a Marcus Aurelius, or I'll mention Niccolo Machiavelli, or I'll mention Sun Tzu. I'll even take a topic from Albert Camus, Dostoevsky, Franz Kafka. They are just writers, but boom, internet. And so there's this jetpack, there's this burst of motivation to, let's start the change, let's learn. The constant need of a change. It's not even a need. It's this chasing factor about change. Is this idealistic fairness that you have in your head that there will be a day after a night. There will be Superman for every Batman. Humans and they're materialistic. They're agnostic. They're self-depreciating. And they're baseless comments and thoughts about the world. How do I say that? I don't even know the words to say that thing. So the thing that happens is you are motivated, you learn philosophy, and then there is this sudden drop. Nothing. There's no coming back from the drop, by the way. There's this despair, there's this nothingness about the world, which you learn. And how does that happen is, let's say you're going up. You learn about Dostoevsky, you learn about Albert Camus, you learn about Niccolo Machiavelli, you learn about Plato's cave, you might learn about the truth theories of Socrates, you go through Stoicism, boom, you learn about maybe Sun Tzu or Tao, and then boom, you have reached the peak. You know what happens after peak? You fall down. And in philosophy, there's no coming back. There's this downhill of things. Once you reach that peak of burst of motivation, then the graph goes down when the reality of philosophy hits. And so it's like I'm learning philosophy, and then it's whatever you call the despair of philosophy, which I name it. And the thing is that there is no word such as despair at that point, because you have scotched the layer of understanding and language itself. So there's no linguistic translation of what you feel at that point, or even if there is a word called as feeling. Because what happens is, at the core, there's this no meaning. There's nothing about the world that you even care about at that point. There is no word as care. There's this bunch of chemicals running in your head. That's it. You scotch through consciousness and there's nothing. There's no meaning. There's no why. There's no change and there's no chase to change. But human is a complex creature because we have metacognition. And if you don't know what metacognition is, it's you think about what you are thinking. And so a sheep doesn't care what other sheep feels about me or the sheep. Nobody cares in sheeps. No lion cares. It's a biological routine. You want to know a fair thing about your genetical relationship? I don't know who gave it. I forgot the name. But let's say you have cousin in front of you, or you have your sibling in front of you, and you have to die, and the cost is seemingly good to you, that if I die, okay, I have level 4 cancer, and if I can save both of their lives, yeah, maybe I'm ready to die because the cost of the product is greater than the cost of whatever I'm sacrificing. And so let's say you agree that, yeah, I'm going to die, I'm going to make the sacrifice because the product is good. One of them gets to live their entire life. And the answer is one of them gets to live. And through that condition, who would you save? Who would you save? You would save the sibling. And it's not about that you have spent your entire childhood with them. It's not that you have core memories with them. You would choose your sibling over your cousin. It's because of something we call kinship. You have your gene related to them more than you have your gene related to your cousin. And so there's this ratio that for every two sibling, you would equalize for every eight cousins. So I would prefer saving my two siblings over eight cousins because now that there's an equal situation. And then your core memories and XYZ shit would even stand a chance. And it happens even in parrot monkeys. So there's no point saying that it's because of core emotions only. Well, the thing why I'm even talking about this is because you need to understand that once you scratch this layers, the core is empty. The core has nothing. And so you would not want to tear down the layers, because if you tear down the layers, you understand that there's nothing that matters. Nothing, literally nothing. And so me even making this video wouldn't matter at that point. It shouldn't matter. You watching this video wouldn't matter. Me even using this expensive setup to even record a video wouldn't matter. Me trying to eat good food won't even matter. Me trying to wear clothes even won't matter. Me trying to turn on my fan when I'm sweating won't even matter. Because those are the top layers. Mom, can you make me some coffee? I'm tired. That's the top. And so there's this paradoxical question. Because in the end, there's this ideology of existential crisis, nihilism, pessimism, a realistic identity of what a human biologically stands. And then you realize that I have to wake up tomorrow, I have to go to my job, I have to work for that damn assignment that I have to give, I have to make a cup of coffee because I love coffee. Oh my god, that shit tastes good. I have to record this video because I want views, I want money. And you go on with life. Because asking these questions give you that paradoxical question, as I said. Is if nothing matters, you should be a saint right now. A saint that does not preach any God because God doesn't exist. Nothing exists. Nothing is real. And that's why everything is real. But nothing matters. And that's why everything matters. This is a very, very deep sort of a thing I said, but it's very simple to understand. That if I give you the freedom, and if I also say that you don't have any freedom, means, you know. And so I had this paradoxical question as if I have understood that there's nothing to life, then there's nothing to life. There's no combing your hair before going out. There's no smelling good before going out. There's just basic living. Just surviving. That's the core of what life is supposed to be. If you reach after tearing down all the layers of what this complex human is. And that's why people avoid scratching the layers, tearing them apart, because there's no sewing them back again, there's no stitching them again. Once you have broken them, it's gone. It's not coming back. And so what I want to do with this channel is I want to just touch the top one or two layers, which is your daily conditions. How do you be more productive? I'll give you some knowledge. How do I use that particular software that increases my boost my productivity. Boom, take it. There's this new principle in psychology that can help you handle your relationships better. Go take it. But the core is, why does anything matter? Why do I even care about the people I care about? Why? And if you give an answer, go for a why then. And so scratch the layers. I don't want you to scratch them because you will understand that nothing matters out there. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to stay happy. Because the thing is, after everything I have understood, is your biology always wins over philosophy. I'm sorry. I won't say that philosophy is a pretty privilege, like a rich man's thing, but I would also not deny the fact that if you don't have a plate filled with food on your table for 48 hours, then an existential crisis won't matter to you. Because biology wins over philosophy any day. And so I questioned it genuinely that why do I even want to do the shit that I want to do? I mean, why do I want to cut my hair, look good for the female gaze or whatever? Why do I want to get in shape? Why do I want to go to gym, eat good food, maintain my body? Nothing matters. Then why am I doing it? And the core reason is, am I doing it for myself? And then who is myself? Am I me or am I? The answer to the consciousness is weird. And it stands at a very strange line of events. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? I don't know. I have scorched as much as I can, and I'll keep scorching until I reach that core actually. Then let's see what happens. Because now I have understood that biology would always win over your philosophy. And eventually, what this channel would nowhere mean to this video I'm making, but it sets a core that I don't want you to scroach or tear down or break the construct of reality you have around you. It's not beneficial to any point. If there's something that's striking that oxytocin, striking that dopamine, serotonin, making you happy, be happy. Go shake your dick if it makes you happy. If it releases the dopamine and gets you happy, do that. Who cares? Who cares? And then we have this secondary set of people which I consider stupid and obnoxious and just fucked, who do the philosophical and then they also try to do the physiological end. And so I say it with open arms is that I don't have the courage to do the physiological end. And as I said, I feel those people are stupid who spend their lives in the top two layers and they decide to do a physiological end. I mean, how bad can your girlfriend rejecting you would be? How bad can your loved one's death would be? How weird a human has given the importance to those top layers of life. And I can't say anything against that firmly unless I leave it myself. Because no one believes a preacher. Everybody loves to use ad hominem as a fallacy topic in a fucking debate, but everybody corely believes it in life. You see, you won't listen to me because I'm making a video and I'm giving you some knowledge. But if instead of me, there was a fucking philosopher who has written 10 books, a person who gets like multiple master PhD degrees, you would listen to them. And so nobody listens to a preacher. Nobody understands the reality. And then I feel like, why the fuck do I even want them to change? Why do they matter to me? You can do whatever you want to do. I'll make these videos because I'm bored as fuck. And I don't want to do the physiological end because I'm not couraged enough to face the physiological pain that thing gives. And so it's not a good idea to me. But what I'll do is I'll make a cup of coffee, I'll record some videos, I'll go ahead with it. And I'll morally explore the top two layers. Nothing else. What the fuck am I supposed to say? Bye?